All right, good morning, traders. Today is May 6th, 2026. My name is John Carignan, Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for liking, following, and subscribing to my social media content. Appreciate that. Big shout out to Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Ed Carter, Rick Sadler, everybody that shares the BYOB content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you. All right, let's get started for today. Let's take a look at the markets. Let's start the summary. No, we got some announcements to make. Let me go with the announcements first. All right, tomorrow, members e-learning in the combo room at noon. Starts with Doug, then myself, then Rick. If you don't see me here in the BYOB Trading Room, it's probably because I'm going to be over there in the combo room for 3 hours. So if you're looking for me on Thursday from noon to 3, I'll be hanging out with the three amigos over there. So, all right. So if you want to know how to get over there, I can guide you there now, okay? So you log into your Hit and Run Candlesticks platform website right here, and then you can see right here where you would log into the BYOB Trading Room. You can log into both of them at the same time, by the way, okay? But I won't be in there. Combo Room is right here. Just log into that. It'll open up a new browser and new room for you, and just put your credentials in, log in. You'll be in the combo room. If you're looking for the videos, all right, they're going to be right here under e-learning replay. Hit that, and you can see they're all recorded. We try to record all of them. We may miss one or two, but that's where they are. And you can see here we got 36 pages, 10 videos on each page. All right, so that's like 360 videos right there. All right, and then if that's not enough, we got more under, where's the resources? Oh, they just logged me off. All right, so anyways, under the resources, there's another 200 videos under public webinars. All right, so that's how to get there. That's where the resources are. So you'll see those right there. So that's tomorrow, all right? And the topic's going to be selecting universes, all right? So it should be good, all right? So we'll see you guys there all tomorrow. We'll see all three rooms over there. You should see. All right, we'll start off. Let me see if I make sure I didn't miss anything. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. All right, and don't need that. All right, so that's tomorrow. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 723.30. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY, T2123, IWM, QQQ, all made new all-time highs. FNGU made a new rally high. SPY made, I don't know why that's even in there. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend. 10-minute bullish consolidation. Diamond Dow made an inside day, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17. Gold made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap under the falling 17. Silver inside day, closing under a bearish trap under the falling 17. USO inside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made a lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap under the falling 17. US dollar index in a daily downtrend, closed near the 98.39 area. SPY max pain for today, 723, with a put to call ratio of about 2.3 puts for each call that expires today. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star, they're building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they got a little dash next to it, Means they did a breakout. They're no longer in the bull flag. They're breaking out of the bull flag. You guys, I don't know if you checked them out, but take a look at SanDisk, STX. AMD did good today, yesterday. So SanDisk, big high flyer. STX, big high flyer. But SMH having a breakout from the consolidation bull flag. Over here, all right, if they got a little star next to it, they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dive lower. If they get a little dash, means they've already started their descent lower. Okay, so over the 17 EMA on the daily chart, under the 17 EMA on the daily chart. So there's my little watch list right there. All right, let's take a look at the markets. Going to pull back right now. By the way, I think we pull back to probably this support area, 727.21. Okay, so looking for price, kind of pull back to there. That's by the pre-market. Let's take a look at it without the pre-market on there. And let's pick up the 10-minute chart. And let's pick up a clean chart. And you can see on the 10-minute chart we had, well, what did we trade yesterday? Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so here's the guidance. All right, plan to trade a 10-minute downtrend below 719.50. Don't think that ever happened. Okay, you can see as we gapped up yesterday, bullish gap, bears never filled the gap. We gapped up to 721.50 roughly. You can see we never even got to 719 down here, so that part didn't play into it. So the other part did. Plan to trade 10-minute uptrend over 722. On up to the all-time high, 725, and then 727 if we get there early, okay? So let's see if that played out. See, we had a nice 10-minute uptrend, okay, over, started to get over 722 right there, and we traded this right on up to 725.13, okay? So 10-minute uptrend. You can see the space between the 3 and the 8, everything kind of rising up there. Little picture of money, all right? You see the ADMA and the VWAP get wider and wider and wider, all right? So nice little picture of money right there. If you don't know what the picture of money is, that's when, well, you see the ADMA and the VWAP separate, and the distance between it gets wider and wider and wider. So that's what I call the picture of money. So 10-minute bullish consolidation. Even though we had this one candle downtrend, right here with the 3 crossing under. This is all bullish consolidation. Look at it. I mean, we're moving up and over to the right for the most part. Okay, so that would be 10-minute bullish consolidation for me. 2-hour chart. All right, we've got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. You can see the candlesticks and the 3 EMA riding up on top of a sloping up 8 EMA right there. So 2-hour uptrend coming into the close. Daily candle. Okay, we made a new all-time high, so, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. So it's hard not to be bullish and in an uptrend when you're making new all-time highs. So there's SPY. This is the origin of the rally. April. Ran up, make a new all-time high. Pulled back, made a higher low. Ripped, made another new all-time high. So there's SPY on daily chart. Okay, so bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, can't use that all-time high anchored VWAP anymore because we got a new one. All right, so there's SPY on the daily charts. Look at the weekly chart. Weekly, it's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. I mean, if you're making new all-time highs on the daily, well, then weekly and monthly are going to fall right in line with that. So obviously bullish and in an uptrend on both of those. Both looking good there. So there's SPY, weekly, monthly, daily. Okay, my favorite trade, which we did get yesterday. Let's take a look at the 10-minute chart right here. So we had, I got to go put that all-time high anchored VWAP back on. Okay, so we had my favorite trade. So if you don't know what my favorite trade is, it's a 10-minute uptrend that resides inside a 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Well, here is the pink line. All right, right through here. That is the all-time high anchored VWAP. I can crank that up, as you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so there's the pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP. So we had ourselves a 10-minute uptrend. You can see the sticks in the 3 riding on up over the 8. Okay, inside that 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend. So there it was. That was my favorite trade. So we rode this up to new all-time highs yesterday on SPY, 10-minute uptrend right there. That's my favorite trade. So I'm going to take this off. We don't need it anymore. All right, so game plan for this morning, all right? But I think I got another game plan, all right? Because we're gonna trade some of this pre-market. This was written without the pre-market activity included in it. So let's just go through this real quick. I don't think it's going to be relevant today, being since we're high flying already, well over this. So, but I'll just review it just in case. All right, pivot 723.30. Above it bull, below it bear. Red erases green underneath 721.45. Green erases red over 725. We're already over it. I like Friday options on the multiple of 5 specifically for the open interest. I like strikes that are at the money. You get out of the money. I don't get that penny for penny performance. When you get strikes in the money or at the money, you get closer to that penny for penny performance. In other words, when I speak about penny for penny performance, if the market moves up 10 cents, your option should move up 10 cents, the value of your option. Okay, if it's an out of the money, it won't do that, all right? It'll move up a percentage of that. So if you got a 31 delta, every dollar that the market moves up or the underlying security moves up, and you got a 31 delta, it's going to move up 31 cents for every dollar that the market moves up or the underlying security moves up, okay? So you're not going to get quite the same penny for penny performance that you would. Now, during the day, even the out of the money and the in the money will have some theta decay that comes with them. So it's a little bit of theta decay that comes with the in the money and at the money, but all in all, you get a pretty good performance out of the option, which makes it nice so you can leverage your money and still have something left over to either fix a trade or to add to a trade. So for that reason, I like those options, all right? So again, on the multiple of 5, because there's a lot of open interest, you don't want a lot of slippage, and you don't want to go paying 20 cents between the bid and the ask. You don't want to be giving away your money to the market maker just to get into a trade and then giving it back to him when you get out. All right. So for that reason, I like a tight bid ask spread. All right. So that's why I choose something that has a lot of open interest, which happens to be those Friday options on the multiple of 5. All right, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, which I already went over my favorite trade. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. If a 10-minute downtrend happens to manifest up here, long before it gets to the red erases green entry, I'm not opposed to trading it back to the downside, all right? Just like to see it break that 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Same thing when it goes to the upside. If a 10-minute uptrend happens to manifest back here where the gap fill is, all right, I would not be opposed to trading it. Just like to see it break that 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. Now, occasionally we get extended and you trade a pullback to VWAP. That will happen quite often. All right, so there's a 10-minute chart, 2-hour. Again, I think I showed you. Got the daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA right there. All right, let's take a look at the pre-market. Let's go ahead and look at that right now. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I just want to pull up the GEX. All right, so you can see the call wall's growing. This is the biggest absolute gamma right there, okay, that 724. So that's acting as a magnet. So that's sucking price toward it, all right? So I think you're going to find when the market opens, that might not be the biggest absolute gamma right there, All right, 724. But right now, price is getting sucked towards it. I think you're going to see we find support here at 727. We're getting a pullback now. You can see there's the spike candle. This is going to be the rubber band candle. If we break and make a candle below this tail down here, that will be a break of the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. So we could come fluttering back to 724. I don't think so, but we'll see. All right. If we get back here and they miss gap fill by a penny, all right, that's a bullish clue. That means the bulls didn't allow them to fill the gap, and look for a reversal for a 10-minute uptrend to come back up towards these highs back here. Right now, I'm looking at a pullback, kind of high flyer right now. I suspect they'll probably pull back, find some support right here on 727.21. We'll see what happens. But right now, it's kind of too early to tell. Don't have a 10-minute downtrend. All right. And on the PPO, in the pre-market, we got highs up there around 0.08. All right, which was high flyer up there. So, you know, we're obviously going to see a retest. I believe we're going to see a retest of those highs sometime probably in the morning hour. We'll see. But I think it's probably going to happen in the morning hour, a retest of those highs. So look for this to kind of J-hook off of some support. And I know there's some support here at 727. They may even come down here to right here. This is the opening print for when the market opened at 4 in the morning, right there. So they may come down to that. And they may even come down to 725. There's some support at 725. And there's some more support at 723. So they're in a pullback. So currently you got a 5-minute downtrend. All right, so 5-minute downtrend. And you can trade that till it's done. All right, so 5-minute downtrend with your stop right over the high of day up there, or the all-time high in the pre-market up there. So I think they'll find some support, 727 right here or right here. So where is the 33% line? So let's take a look at that. Okay, so 33% is right there at the opening number. So that's at 726.14. All right, so this blue line, which happens to be where the market opened in the pre-market, right there, 726.14. So I think they probably come back to there. That would be 33%. And I would look for a reversal right out of this area. So getting all the way back to 724, I don't think so. I think closer to this 726.14 would be the likely target. And then J-hook out of there and start meandering their way back up towards the all-time highs. So it's early. It's 8:20, so we got like an hour and 10 minutes. So we very well could find ourselves in an uptrend, which I plan on trading at the open. So if they have an uptrend at the opening, I plan on trading that uptrend back up towards those all-time highs, wherever the call wall is. Okay, so the call wall is going to get readjusted. All right, right now currently at 730. It will probably change. All right, the call wall. So we'll see what happens. We're in a positive gamma regime, so we could overrun the call wall. Just saying. All right, doesn't mean that the call wall is going to push us back. It's just something that's going to be magnetic as we get the uptrend going. Right now, the big absolute gamma, that's going to be where price is probably going to be sucked to right there, because that's got the most well, they get a lot of calls there, so they'll be wanting to get rid of those calls, all right, so they can knock it down. And actually, so we'll see what happens, all right. But you can see right now, here's price here, so it's kind of making its way back towards the absolute gamma. That's the biggest spike with the most gamma exposure on it right there. So we'll move this out of the way for a minute. Again, I think we're going to get a target 726.14 somewhere in this circle right here. Okay, looking for a reversal right in there. All right, I don't think we even get to 724. I think we actually J-hook out of this area back up towards the highs. All right, so there's a 5-minute chart. Back to the 10-minute chart. Again, we haven't broken that bearish 10-minute rubber band candle yet. So we'll see what happens there. So that's what I'm looking to trade is 10-minute uptrend. If we have one that manifests before the market opens. Other than that, I think price kind of fades back to this area, that 33% area or the halfway point. And then I think we J-hook back up towards the highs later on today. So I'll be looking for an uptrend, all right, out of this area down here in quadrant 3. That's what I'll be looking for. And to get the quadrants, I put this low and this high is where I keep the quadrant lines. So that pullback low and that all-time high up there. So I think we'll get a J-hook out of this area. This would be support. All right, so that's what I plan on trading. Uptrend over. Okay, plan on trading an uptrend over 722. 10-minute uptrend over 722. Okay, that's what I plan on trading today. That should keep it simple. All right. All right, let's go over the other charts. Let's start with QQQ. All right, and let's move back over here. And 2-hour, you can see on QQQ, 2-hour uptrend. You got daylight between the 3 and the 8 right there. On the 10-minute chart, price moves up over to the right. 10-minute bullish consolidation. Daily chart, new all-time high. Okay, so that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Same with the weekly and the monthly. Okay, bullish and in an uptrend, bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM. Okay, so IWM yesterday, new all-time high, bullish and in an uptrend on IWM. FNGU, okay, new rally high, okay, for FNGU, that's bullish and in an uptrend. They're in the upper third now. Okay, this is the all-time low, all-time high. All-time high anchored VWAP is this pink line. Okay, you can see we're up in the upper third here, so 67%. We're in the upper third up here, says bullish and in an uptrend for FNGU on the daily chart. All right, and let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow put in an inside day, I think. It's a lower high, a higher low. We closed over a bullish trap, over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Up here in, look at this, quadrant 4, so that's bullish, all right, and it's in an uptrend because they made a higher high, not quite moving up yet, all right, kind of still consolidating in this bull flag. So bullish and in an uptrend on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at silver and gold. All right, for silver, got a inside day. It's a lower high, a higher low, closed under a bearish trap under the falling 17. That's the red dots there. Okay, closed under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're not in the upper third. We're not in the lower third, so that's neutral. And you can see we got lows here, and we made lower lows. So still neutral and in a downtrend for silver. Gold. Okay, gold made a higher low and a higher high. We closed under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's a pink line. Now if we pan out, okay, so we're up in quadrant 4 up here. So that's bullish in the upper third. That's bullish. And you can see we're in a downtrend because there's some lows right here that poke below the 17, and we made lower lows. So bullish, but in a downtrend for gold. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, high flyer USO, lower high, lower low, closed inside a bullish trap over the rising 17. Up here in the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. And in an uptrend, there's a high, there's a higher high. That's an uptrend. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG, lower high, lower low, closed under a bullish trap under the falling 17, bottom of quadrant 1. So that's bearish. This is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. Okay, we're underneath that. We're underneath the midpoint. We're all the way down here, quadrant 1. That's an all-time low. We were dangerously close to making new all-time lows. All right, so there's UNG down here. This is bearish, still in a downtrend. They haven't made a higher high. So that's UNG. On the technicals, T2101. And this is absolute market breadth or participation. And the market keeps getting thinner and thinner. All right, so it's nice to make new highs, but it's even better to make them with full market participation. You can see market participation 12.51. Okay, its height, there's like 39 up there around 40, so not quite a whole lot of participation. That's a bearish sign when we're making new highs on thin volume. All right, so that's kind of like a red flag. That would be a bearish clue right there. Okay, T21, 22. This would be a bullish clue, camping out all day inside the buy zone. You can see for the most part in April, you can see that yellow line spent the majority of its time over the midpoint. So if you were going to divide up which side was the bulls and which side was the bears, bulls would be up here. Okay, this would be the bullish control or bullish momentum. And you can see very little bearish momentum down through here. So the bulls still have the ball. Bulls still have control. And you can tell just by those bullish gap ups, all right, like the FNGU and some of the other ones, and not getting filled by noon by the bears. So, and then planking up there at those highs. So that's showing you bulls are in control. So that's a bullish clue right here on the buy zone. Okay, let's take a look at T2123. Another one, bullish gap up. All right, and you can see the bears never filled the gap. We're up over the rising 200 SMA. That's bullish. That's where you want to be if you're a bull. New all-time high for T2123. So obviously that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Take a look at it on the 3-bar chart, and you can see it with the quad lines. This is our April 2025 low. This is where our rally started back here in April. We rip, make a new all-time high in the year of 2025. Pull back, make a higher low, rip, make a new all-time high for the year of 2026. Pull back, make a higher low, and rip again and make a new all-time high for another new all-time high for 2026. So obviously bullish and in an uptrend over that rising 200 SMA. All right, so that's where you want to be if you're a bull. That's bullish and in an uptrend. FNGU, okay, see that bullish gap up. All right, not filled by the bears, and see them hold the higher ground. Consolidation over prior consolidation, okay? The bullish environment. Anytime you see a cluster of price action over a prior cluster of price action, just think of that as one candle. So this would be one cluster. Think of that as one green candle. All right, and then think of this as another green candle. All right, and anytime you got one candle making higher highs and higher lows over the prior candle, that would be bullish, right? Because that would be moving up. It's making higher highs, and the lows are not taking out the lows of the previous price action. So that would be bullish environment. Whether it consolidates flat like this, because this would be consolidation over prior consolidation, that's a bullish environment. It doesn't always have to be consolidation. It can be a group of price action where price moves up. So just think of that as bullish just as well. Doesn't have to be consolidation. Most of the time it is, but you'll see that quite often. So if you see price action making a cluster of candles up over another cluster of candles, okay, that's a bullish environment you see right there. Okay, just count that as one green candle, and the one before is another candle. Okay, so you've got prices making higher highs and higher lows. That becomes a bullish environment right there. So this is FNGU on the 15-minute chart. That's bullish and an uptrend. U.S. dollar index. All right, you got a downtrend right here, 6-month downtrend, 10-month bear flag. We haven't made any higher highs. We got a low. We made lower lows. So we're still in a daily downtrend, currently at 98.39 right there. Max pain for today. Let's see if we can dig that out. Max pain for today, 723. 2 puts to each call that expires today. That's just for the options that expire today on the SPY. Economic calendar for today is MBA mortgage applications at 7, ADP employment report at 8:15. We've got Treasury going to do their refunding announcement at 8:30. Petroleum report 10:30. And that's it for tomorrow. We got jobless claims at 8:30, productivity and costs at 8:30, construction spending at 10, construction spending at 10:01. Must be 2 different reports. Maybe one of them is delayed. Natural gas report at 10:30 and consumer credit at 3. That's it, okay? Main event right here, employment situation comes out at 8:30 on Friday. Okay, there'll be some market volatility wrapped up in the employment situation report. Okay, so expect some volatility around 8:30 on Friday. That would be the employment situation. All right, so you got my plan for today, okay, for SPY. I'll review it one more time before the market opens. Okay, one more time. Okay, I'm expecting a pullback to this area. All right, and it's this red box area right there. All right, I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend coming out of this area. Okay, we may even pull back to almost gap fill, but I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend to manifest coming out of this area or through this area right there, and I'm interested in trading the 10-minute uptrend over that. If we get below gap fill, okay, so in other words, if we get below 721.59, 721.50, I'm interested in a 10-minute downtrend below 721.50. Okay. Other than that, I'm looking for a J hook to manifest somewhere around here. All right. I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend to jump into right there. That's my plan for today. Right now, you've got trying to make a 10-minute downtrend. They haven't broke the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle yet. They might not. They might just consolidate up here at these highs. We'll see what happens, all right? But I'm looking for this. I might get it. I might not. We'll see what happens. All right? Any questions in the room before I take off? and start. I'm holding some 520 for Friday. My plan is to sell on the open and look for SPY to stabilize and reload. Yep, I like that. That's kind of what I'm thinking myself is if I got some calls, which I do have a couple calls right here, I want to sell those calls and look for price to stabilize or set the bottom of a bull flag that I'm expecting to form up in this area, and then trade the bottom of that bull flag. And I'll probably go down to a 2 or 3 minute chart so I can pick the bottom off. All right. So I'll probably be on a 2 or a 3 or a 5 minute chart so I can find the bottom of that bull flag so I can catch the reversal back up to the highs. Okay. That's what I'll be looking to do. Pick off the bottom by finding it on the smaller time frame, on the 3 or the 5, the reversal. All right, because I won't find it on the 10. It tends too big and bulky to find the reversal in this area, which should be the bull flag. So that would be the bottom. Set the bottom of the bull flag, if there's going to be a bull flag. Okay, right through there. So I'll be looking at it on a 2, 3, and a 5 minute chart, so I can find that low, and then I can jump on it right away. All right, that's my plan. All right, I'll see you guys in about 35 minutes, and we'll open up the markets together.